Welcome back to the Girl Out of Order podcast. Sisters, I'm so thankful that you joined me today. We are tackling a topic that is so important for millions of women around the world. And we are tackling a topic that right now is near and dear to my heart and not an easy one to share about, but it's essential. And if we are going to live lives of authenticity, of realness, of congruence with who we are and what we believe, then we got to tackle all the things. And so today we are talking about the power of the pause. We are talking about finding strength in stillness. And if you know anything about Christine Gale, you know stillness isn't really one of the top 10 adjectives that people use to describe me or my life or my mission. Not even the way I talk, because I talk fast. I use my hands. I express myself. I move at a really fast clip. But sometimes life happens to us, doesn't it? Sometimes circumstances arise, and then we are faced with a choice. Do we listen to the signals from our brains and our bodies? Do we take that into our souls, or we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing? I know you know the answer. The power of the pause. I've talked about that phrase, I know, a number of times on the Girl Out of Order podcast. I talk about it in my life. I tell other women that I'm leading and teaching and coaching, sisters, you've got to pause. You've got to get some white space in your life. You've got to make some room for your creativity to breathe and emerge. And now I'm looking in the mirror, and circumstances have arisen that are causing me to have to pause. I'm going to change that. Are allowing me the opportunity to pause. So before we dive into this very brief podcast, because I'm keeping it real short today, promises, but I really am going to keep it short today because the message is succinct, it's to the point, and it's ready to apply. But before we dive in, may I just please ask you to take a minute or two out of your time and leave the Girl Out of Order podcast a 5-star review wherever you listen, Apple, Spotify, Buzzsprout, or you watch us on YouTube. We need your help to grow this community. We need your help to build this podcast up, to get this message out into this world, because women are hungry for authentic messages about empowerment, self-acceptance, self-worth, to give them the courage to step into their own identities and start living lives of vision and confidence and community. But we need your help. The reviews are the number one way we can build this podcast. So let me know if you're willing to do that. Send me a DM with your review so that I can be encouraged too, because let's be honest, podcasting is kind of lonely sometimes. I love my interviews, but a lot of times I'm just here behind this microphone talking to you. I have you in my mind and you in my eyes. I'm picturing your faces. I'm thinking about your stories, and I just want to know you're out there. So let a sister know. So why am I talking about the power of the pause right now? In the month of July, we're going to be talking a lot about pausing, resting, and waiting. And let me be real honest with you, sisters. I don't like pausing. I don't like resting. And I sure as heck do not like waiting. I am all about going after things, setting big goals, setting big dreams, and running hard after those. And so why am I talking about pausing now? I'm recording this on June 30th, literally the last day of the first half of 2024. Where on earth did this year go? Where did it go? How is it that we are halfway through this year? My head is about ready to explode. And I could do one of two things. I could be like lamenting, oh my gosh, half the year is gone. Time's going so fast. That's an option. We all have options. Or I can say, holy smokes, 2024, this so far has been epic. And I'm ready to build on it and grow and keep ascending, which is my word for this year. So I'm choosing to do the latter, as you can imagine. So why am I talking about pausing if I'm talking about building my dreams and doing all this thing? Well, here's the thing. I love to garden. Anybody who knows me knows I love to plant flowers, dig in the dirt, plant vegetables. I love to prune trees, plant trees, cut trees down, put trees, in the ground. I don't know where I keep going with that. You guys already get the picture. But one thing that has always pained me, like causes me physical pain, is when I have to prune healthy branches off a full and vibrant tree. Because if I don't, she will not flourish. If I don't, she won't reach her full potential. She'll still look maybe full for the season, but what she really needs is for me to pull off some of the dead weight that from the outside looking in seems healthy, seems growing. And so it's always been very hard for me to do that. But over the last couple years, I've really come to not only understand, but to just be grateful for what those live branches have given that tree as I cut them down, as I make space and give that tree the room to breathe, to grow, to expand, and to fill in. That's such an analogy for my life right now. You see, I'm going through some health junk. I'm going through some relationship challenges. And I, at first, reacted. How many of you out there, as if I'm talking to a live audience, because that's what I'm picturing your beautiful faces. How many of you out there, if you're driving along, put one hand on the wheel, the other hand in the air, understand that when you react and don't respond, wisdom sometimes doesn't actually bubble up to the top of your decision making. So I got a diagnosis of fibroids on my uterus. I'm going to be really open and I'm going to be sharing my journey over the next 2 months because these fibroids, sisters, these fibroids are big. They are 10 centimeters, 11 centimeters. They're like having 2 slow pitch softballs attached to my uterus, which is only supposed to be the size of a fist. And I had a tummy tuck after my last child, and my belly is not able to expand the way it normally would if you have those kind of growths. So I would have had earlier warnings that things were bad because obviously, well, if you know me, you know I'm a tiny little person. I'm only 5'2", and I'm very fit. So I would have looked probably right now about 6 months pregnant for as big as they are, but I can't expand. And so these fibroids are starting to crush my organs a little bit and making it harder for me to breathe. Wow, even just saying that is really emotional. It's scary. And I have to have a full hysterectomy because my uterus has grown so large that they can't even do it laparoscopically. They can't do it minimally invasive. This is going to be a major surgery. And so here's Christine. Here's my reaction. Okay, fine. I got to have the hysterectomy. All right, we'll process through that. But I've got shit to do. So I've got a trip planned at the end of July. I got a trip planned at the end of August. I'm going to cram in my mastermind called Own Your Identity, which, by the way, that mastermind is freaking happening. Just not right now. And so I go out, I announce the mastermind. I'm planning it with my really good friend, Dawn. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to serve these women. I got to fit all this in. And then I'll have my surgery on September 10th. And I just wasn't living congruent. Have you ever done that? Have you ever reacted to a situation and your reaction is to push through it instead of breathing and listening to what it's actually telling you? And when I say it, I mean whatever situation it might be, whether it's a marriage crisis or a health crisis or a friendship breakdown or challenges at work. Have you ever just decided, I'll show you trial. I'll white knuckle and I'll fit this in and I'll serve these women and I'll be the superwoman I've always been. And I was for a while. And then I started waking up in the middle of the night with borderline panic attacks and waking up with crippling anxiety. And one time on Father's Day, we ate and drank all day. Had, I wasn't drunk. Let me make that clear. Okay, I had a couple drinks, a couple beers, but my point is that night I went to bed and I had sharp stabbing stomach pains and I just started violently throwing up. And then 5 days later, I went out for dinner and I couldn't breathe very well at all on the way home because my stomach had blown up so much and there wasn't any room to digest. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, duh, Christine, it's all hands on deck. Your health has to come first, right? Well, yeah, duh is right. But here's the thing with Christine. She was out there preaching a message to so many women about listening to your body and being in tune with her signals and putting your health first and taking care of what's right and practicing the power of the pause. But when it came time for me to do it, I resisted. Oh, did I resist? And my body sent me signals. God sent me signals. I can't do that anymore. So I've moved my surgery up to August 5th. And I've postponed the Own Your Identity Mastermind. And I'm in a season of waiting. And I'm in a season of pausing. And there's a different kind of panic. There's a different kind of anxiety about that because I was moving forward. The first half of this year was so exciting. I had my first ever speaking gig. I just had so many things going in the direction that I wanted them to go. And now I must pause. It's time to prune those seemingly healthy branches, that momentum I felt like I had needed to be paused and pruned because my body is sending me signals that I have to listen to. In my marriage, we're going through some struggles, and it's causing me to not make clear-headed decisions, right? Because I'm reacting, not responding to the realities that I want to argue with. Michael Singer says, when we argue with reality, pain arrives. It's one of the greatest sources of suffering in this life is when we argue with reality. And so I've made a decision to stop doing that. I don't want these stupid fibroids in my body. I don't want to have this painful surgery and this long recovery. I want to have my summer. I want to swim in my pool and run in my trails. And I sound like Veruca Salt from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I want a pony now. I sound like I'm throwing a temper tantrum because damn it, that's what I've been doing. And it's not serving me. And importantly, it's not serving you, my community. A very good friend of mine who has been helping me with the mastermind bravely said to me, "You're being a hypocrite." Oh, that hurt. That hurt. And it was true. And it was said in love. And it woke me up. Boy, did it wake me up. And so I'm shuffling things around. I am pausing. And it's hard. Oh, it's hard. And there are still days I wake up emotional and disappointed. And honestly, a little bit fearful for the future. And I get to keep speaking truth over that fear because the truth is pausing may be the most potent weapon for growth I've ever had in my life. Pausing and pruning and sitting in stillness and waiting and resting is good medicine. I I wrote a manifesto in Unleash Your Power Within at the end of last year for my 2024. And the identity I created was Aurora Flame, this beautiful vision of who I am, what I believe, what I stand for. And one of the lines in there is, I am in tune with my body and I listen to her signals. And then I wasn't doing that. And now I am. So I wanted to show up for you. And I want to ask you a couple questions. Are there ways that you are reacting to situations in your life or messages that you're getting from your body, and you're reacting out of your old patterns of denying your beautiful self to fit into a mold of what you expect of yourself or what others expect of you? Do you need to stop reacting and start responding with wisdom and clarity and prayer and meditation? Because when we create that space to receive, we can respond in the right, best, and most healthy manner. Are there signals that your beautiful body is sending you that you are denying and pushing aside and pretending isn't real? Have you got checked out? I'm going to give you a PSA. Have you got your uterus checked out? Have you got your mammogram? Have you got your blood test? Have you had your hormones checked? Are you listening to your body because she's speaking to you? Don't wait until she's screaming at you the way mine is. Listen to her because the world needs you, sister. Do your breast self-exam, schedule your mammogram, get your pap smear done, go get your skin checked. From one skin cancer survivor to potentially another, get yourself checked. And then I want to ask you, are there circumstances in your life right now that you are arguing against? Are there circumstances in your life that you are pretending aren't happening, that you are pretending aren't real? And are you suffering as a result of it? Are your relationships suffering as a result of it? Are your finances suffering because you're ignoring the credit card bills, because you're ignoring your retail therapy? Guilty as charged. Stop arguing with reality. Start listening to the signals your body, mind, and spirit are sending you. Listen to the wisdom that's around you from your tribe. Surround yourself with women who are going to stand up, tell you the truth, and not shrink back when you make those excuses or all those rationalizations or justifications for why you should just keep going and serving because you're so close to reaching your dream. It's not a dream denied, sister. Saying this as much for myself as I'm saying it for you. It's not a dream denied, just a tiny bit deferred. There's power in the pause. There is strength in stillness. I don't know what the next couple months holds for me. But what I do know is I am a phoenix who will always, always rise more beautiful, more strong, more vibrant, more colorful than ever before. And so after this pausing, after this stillness, I'll be back. And this autumn is going to be better than ever. How about you? I know you can do it. We are in this together as a community. We need to be healthy. We need to be vibrant. We need to be authentic. We need to live lives of congruence, of hope, of vision, of strength. And oftentimes it starts with the pause. So I'm inviting you to pause with me. And together, we will find strength in the stillness. I'll see you next week.